Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Manic Monday edition of The Rundown. I will be your host today. My name is Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the left coast. But as we all know, I do not do this program by my lonesome.
Hey, my name is Mike Pewarski, coming to you from the right coast, from the east coast, from the gun-friendly coast. Well, the southeast is the kind of the gun-friendly coast. I will be co-hosting today here on The Rundown with you.
Excellent, sir. So how was one's weekend?
Oh, let's see. This weekend, I worked all day Saturday, and then Sunday did some work. So, I worked.
It's a work weekend.
I did work. I did get some stuff accomplished up at my local VFW post, Veterans of Foreign Wars, where I'm an active participant. So it was fun to always see my fellow vets.
Excellent. I attended a wedding this weekend, so that was pretty much most of my Saturday. And then yesterday, watched my Cowboys beat up on the the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers, and then enjoyed a barbecue with some families and friends. So it was a good, nice, pretty relaxing weekend.
Now, hold on a second here. I have not been following football for a while for political reasons. I follow the college football. Go Army, 3-0. But the Chargers are where now?
Oh, they're in Los Angeles.
And who's in Los Angeles?
The Chargers.
Where's the Rams and where's
the Rams are also in Los Angeles.
Okay, and where are the
Raiders are in Vegas.
The Raiders are in Vegas.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So the Oakland Raiders are in Vegas. The San Diego Chargers are in LA. The St. Louis Rams are also in LA. And the San Francisco 49ers, they are in Santa Clara.
Okay. I know that the only thing I know is that the Jets and Giants continue to play football in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, yes.
Yeah. The two New York football teams play. Two New York City football teams play football in New Jersey.
No one ever accused anyone in the NFL brass of being good at geography.
No, not so much. Or the staying out of politics because listen, you just told me more about the NFL than I've known for the past 5 years.
See. Now, when you go after the NFL, all I have to do is bring up Major League Baseball and
bring it. Come on, let's start the week off with a loss for Craig. Go ahead, bring it. Much like the Cowboys, by the way.
No, Cowboys won this week, so we're starting off the week with a win.
All right. So that would make them 1-1 between you and them. All right, keep going.
Yes, that would make them 1-1.
Bring up some baseball, and I will counter with some football.
Look, we have already had more than our fair share of wokeness in Major League Baseball. So
and where would that be?
We discuss it every time it happens. So I don't even need to bring it up
because it happened twice. And then
it happened more than twice. It's happened more than twice. It's happened more than twice.
Put it down.
It's happened more than twice.
You don't see it anywhere. You'll see no logos. You'll see no kneeling. You'll see nothing of the sort.
No, you just move. You just move the All-Star game.
No, we did not move the All-Star game.
You just moved the All-Star game.
The commissioner, who is a piece of garbage, by the way,
right?
Rob Manfred.
But I'm sorry. The commissioner of what?
Of baseball.
Commissioner of what? Of Major League Baseball? What?
That's right. Who decided to, and this was a wonderful thing that he did, because he tried to involve some wokeness into Major League Baseball.
Right.
And Major League Baseball, 22 of the owners came out and said, hey, you do this again, and you're gone. All right, this is baseball. We are here. We're America's pastime. We are hot dogs. We are apple pie. We are baseball. We don't get involved in this crap. We will not have it in our stadium. They
say we will not get involved in it, but they did.
No, they did not. The commissioner.
They didn't fire him. They didn't fire the commissioner.
The commissioner's office, and he has been neutered to the point where he cannot do that. He cannot touch anything anymore.
All right, so then we're not going to see any more woke stories for Major League Baseball, like announcers being suspended for making jokes.
No, that's announcers. You're
That's.
talking about
I'm sorry.
announcers.
Is
That's
that not still Major League Baseball?
No, it's
I'm
not.
Confused.
Those are television networks.
I'm
Those are
confused.
television networks that are not
That
owned
are
by Major League Baseball.
covering Major
So you
League
can
Baseball.
attempt to obfuscate the topic
That
all
are
you want.
covering
However, when
Major
you bring
League
in
Baseball.
when
Okay.
you bring in an
All right.
outside, now you want to talk about an
I
outside
see.
organization.
You've got your MLB blinders on. It's okay.
No.
I get it. You want to watch baseball. I get it.
Now-
I completely
now
get it. I completely get it.
What is the network that broadcasts for the Major League for the football?
Oh, ABC, NBC, CBS. Yeah.
Well, hold on. You mean there's outside entities that cover the sport and they can do what they want based on their own decisions?
Oh yeah. But see,
Oh, you mean
I'm
kinda like
the
baseball, right?
first one to say that I know that. Well, first of all, if we're going to go like that, well, I can just say, look, my Cowboys. No one on my Cowboys kneels during the national anthem or after the national anthem.
Right.
We do
Unless
not
Jerry Jones
disrespect
has
the
their
flag
arms on
into.
them.
We do not
Unless
disrespect
Jerry's
the
out there
flag
with them, right?
in Texas Stadium.
When Jerry can put his arms on them and they can all kneel together, and then that makes it okay.
Well, they didn't do it during the national anthem. They didn't do it during the presentation of the flag.
Oh, okay. Because baseball, we don't do it.
If you're going to tell me you never take a knee for any reason at all,
what, to tie my shoe?
well, there you go. So there you go. See, disrespecting the flag.
That's
Come
usually
on, man.
during
Let's
the
just
game, though. Yeah.
let's just own it. Look, if my team, if directly my team were taking an active role in
Yeah.
undermining the flag, I would have a hard time watching it. Would, as I did, I've stopped watching the Sacramento Kings in basketball. I just think that
who?
if I were to boycott every single business entity that has gotten caught up in wokeness, I wouldn't be here online. We wouldn't be able to do this show because half of the equipment, if not 2/3 of the equipment that we own, and half of the services that we utilize to do this show are totally 100% woke. So I just take pleasure in the fact that I can utilize their tools against them. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Now, are you familiar with the theory of how kosher food works?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, you know, depending on which type of food it is, if it's allowed by a Judaism, they get the rabbi to bless it off that it's been killed and prepared in
Right.
such a way
Exactly,
that it's certified kosher, right? Well, all my products are like that too. I make sure I get a patriot to bless them off before I get. The
Oh, there you go.
there's
See,
no,
now
there's
that's
no
how
woke
you do
products
it.
in here.
That's how you do it.
There's no-
See, okay, I like that. Okay, that's a good one.
I got no woke products. Mine
There
are
you
all,
go.
Patriot approved.
I like that, Mike. I like that. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Oh, well, tell you what, why don't we go ahead and get on into the news today?
Let's do it.
Well, the first thing I wanted to get into, and this is a big deal for me because we had last week the Sacramento County grand jury, Sacramento County being the county in which I reside, sent me a pre-released version of their report they were doing, and the grand jury, mind you, did a report recommending that all the school districts in Sacramento County mandate vaccines for their all eligible staff and students within their districts. Now, I'm sitting up here thinking, first of all, what does a grand jury have to do with whether or not we mandate vaccines? Number one. Number two, I made it a point to read through the report, which, as I can best tell, was prepared in about a month's time, which normally grand jury reports take about 6 months to prepare. Anyway, all that having been said, one of the things that they noted in this grand jury report, by the way, I got it because I sit on a school board here in Sacramento. But what's interesting is that they're pointing to all of these school districts that are being pressured by the media, and in this case by a grand jury, that are being pressured to require or to mandate vaccines for all eligible students and staff. And Mike, I gotta believe that you would agree with me that this is if it hasn't already gotten out of hand, it is beyond out of hand.
First off, Craig, what in the world are you using grand juries for out there in California? I've never seen grand juries be used for such idiocy before. Grand juries are for it's a check and balance system with your district attorney or your state attorney, so they can't go whole half hog, just charging people, without any evidence or with any proof whatsoever. So you have to go before the grand jury for them to sign off and give the blessing to file the charges or file the indictment. But you're doing grand juries for vaccination status?
Exactly.
You're doing what
That
the hell is going on out there?
Well, and then on top of it, so they say in this report that it's not a mandate, right? They're not requiring it; they're just recommending it. But in the recommendations, they say all students and staff must be vaccinated, and then they requiring all of the school districts listed to submit a response. Well, if I get my way, and I'm just one of 5 board members, but if I get my way, our response is going to be go jump in a lake.
Yeah. 2 words, get bent. Something bent. Like that, yeah.
or Mike, or even better than that. Enjoy a bag of Richards.
There you go. Consume a bag of Richards, sir. Yep. There you go. Hashtag eat a bag of dicks, just like that.
But you've got, so they're going to be discussing this upcoming week or next week. They're going to be discussing it at San Diego Unified School District, which is one of the largest school districts in the state. Los Angeles Unified, which we know is totally woke, bent woke, whatever you want to call it. They have already decided that they're going to do these mandates. Other school districts within the Sacramento area are all looking at it. I for one find it incredulous that you would cause someone to either lose their opportunity at an education or lose their livelihood because they refuse to have a drug injected into their body.
Yeah, I looked at some of the statements from this, and I believe it was down there in San Diego where Richard Barrera is the school board president down there for the Unified School Board, which is you're gonna have to explain that Unified to me again. It's giving me, that sounds like some kind of Starfleet comment, but Unified School Board down there in San Diego. He says he's the board president, by the way, but he can only speak for himself, but mandate is the right thing to do. Well, then guess what? Then you're not speaking for yourself when you go out publicly and you say, I only speak for myself, but this is what we should do. You're the school board president all the time, right? That's what you want to do. If you want to go out and lobby and you want to go out and politic, just go out there and do it. Stop trying to
what he's saying is What he's saying is there's an official position of the school board. The school board has not taken a position yet. So therefore, he is more than welcome to advocate for his own, what he believes. What he's saying is he's going to vote. If he has an opportunity, he's going to vote for mandates. Just the same as my board has not taken a position on it yet. I will say right now, I will not support the idea of requiring people to to be vaccinated. That's not the official position of the board. Yeah.
All right, and again, I don't have a problem with that, but this guy goes out and seeks, and as the school board president, he makes sure that he wants people to know the opinion ahead of time before it's even come up. So I just thought it was a little unethical the way he did it. Not that it's unethical to get your position out there, just his method that he did so. I did notice that school board down there, now this is what made it seem even more odd to me, is that they're pushing for vaccinations down there, yet the staff and the adults down there are already at 80%. 80%. Okay? They're past herd immunity. They're already past it. But remember, Craig, this is just 2 weeks. Right. We're just going to do this for 2 weeks until we can make sure we have enough ICU beds. And now we're at the point where 80% is still not high enough. Okay?
Right.
This is about control. This is 100% about control. They're going to put 100% of needles in these people down there. And then guess what? In 5 months, they're going to go, oh, sorry, another variant, and you're going to be getting these needles in your arms. This is going to turn into the mandatory flu vaccine every 6 months for everybody in this country. And what that's going to turn into is a lot of broken noses, if you understand my meaning.
I definitely understand your meaning. And it's, like I said, and for me, it's fundamental. And, I got the vaccine. So it's not about whether or not I have confidence in the vaccine or not. It's about the fact that if you don't have control over your own body, then you are by definition a slave. And we are not to be a slave. We are not to be slaves. Not in this country. We don't have slavery. Not only do we not have slavery, we're definitely not going to be a slave to the government. And so I just think that it's important that we allow people to make medical decisions for themselves. I want to say especially, but it's not even really especially. I'm just in defiance of their own logic. If you have the vaccine, if you've been vaccinated, you can still get it and you can still spread it. So why are you mandating the vaccine? I don't get it. That does not make any sense.
Because it's what they can control.
Right. It's what
they can control.
Right. That's what it is. It's really about control because they don't trust you to make decisions for you. They want to make the decisions for you. They want to tell you what to eat. They want to tell you what to sleep. They want to tell you what you can watch and see on social media, online, what you can see and hear on TV. Anything that is inconsistent with what they want you to see and hear needs to be shut down. And that includes you do not have control over your own children, over your own money, and by the way, over your own body. And I know that some people are like, oh, well, that's crazy. Oh, well, that's crazy. Well, you know what? You see it happen every time when their logic is completely and utterly contrary to the to actual logic. It's impossible. Anyway, I think it is time that reasonable, rational people looked up and said, look, you keep saying follow the numbers. This is what the numbers say. And no, we are not going to permit you to overstep your bounds in this way. Done with y'all.
Yeah, well, let's see how many do it. That's what we have to do here, right? That's how you stop a tyrant, isn't it? When enough people say no more.
Right. No, I completely agree. Okay, moving right along. Now we've got so this was an interesting one. So I came across this story. Now, Ted Nugent, he's cool. I've never been like a huge oh my God, Ted Nugent. You know, I think it's great that he stands for the rights of individuals' rights to keep and bear arms. He definitely seems to be an individual who stands for liberty. And I don't know that I would ever go to or go out of my way to attend a Ted Nugent rally, just because I got a job. I gotta make money. If it ain't making money, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. But all that having been said, there's a rally that was going to be taking place, and a local school district was going to be taking place near a local school. And they decided that they were going to do lockdown protocols at this school because school administrator was afraid that it might provoke gun violence. I'm sorry, I forgot to do my quotes. Gun violence, at their school. So in other words, they were afraid that a Ted Nugent rally was going to result in a school shooting.
Yeah, first off, we prefer to call him the Nuge. That's what we call him. He's the Nuge. Okay. We know that Ted, Uncle Teddy, is very pro-gun. Listen, the amount of work that he's done, for charities, for veterans, for law enforcement is just unbelievable. Everybody thinks of him as this crazy old coot that's out there with shotguns and bows and arrows doing incredibly stupid stuff. He's one of the most responsible firearms owners, firearm supporters of the industry that's out there. This Centerville school district, I believe it is Centerville, is about, if you drew a line from Chicago to Detroit, it's right smack in the middle, about 2.5 hours from each of them. So, and then north and south between Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, I think is where it is. So it's really in the middle of nowhere. It's 2.5 hours, 2 hours from nowhere, right in the middle. But yeah, this is to just shut down because you heard there was a rally involving a pro-gun supporter, and you think that they're all just going to bust loose and go shoot up schools. I mean, can we send out this school administrator for a psychological eval?
I'm beginning to wonder, sir. Oh, didn't want to have that one there. I'm beginning to wonder. I mean, okay, so here's the crazy part about all this is, first of all, understand that gun violence, I've never been at a pro-gun event where violence has occurred. I've never been one, and I've gone to tons of them. I've covered tons of them. And number one, you don't see violence at these events. In particular, you don't see gun violence at these, I keep forgetting the quotes. Gun violence. You don't see violence involving firearms at these events because people who, for the most part, promote the Second Amendment, promote gun rights, also promote responsible gun ownership. So that's the first thing. The people who generally are engaged in violence, well, most of them would probably be these folks, students, but they're people who aren't interested in gun rights. They're more interested in crime. They're more interested in perpetrating crime and violating the rights of those of the victims of their crimes. So anyway, but it is just an asinine statement to believe that just because someone supports the Second Amendment, that they also engage in violence. And that's really what it is. Obviously, if you...
Yeah, I really think this... Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I'm done. Go ahead.
I really think this school board principal, superintendent, whatever it is, needs to go out for a psychological evaluation. Now, the rest of town is Centerville, because this is out in God's country. The rest of the town is shutting down early so they can attend the rally, so they can all go to the rally. Okay, they've said it. Listen, everything in this town is shutting down so they can go to the rally. The school board, and again, this is what this principal says: we're going to be on level 1 lockdown. Level 1 lockdown until 11:30 because of this rally, because it's Second Amendment rally. Why only until 11:30? Because at 11:30 they're going to dismiss so they can go to the rally. So I'm like, wait a second. You're going to put the school on lockdown to protect them from the Second Amendment people, but you're going to get out early so you can go attend the rally. All right, this school board member needs help. I mean, they really.
Well, what it is, man, is I really believe that this is an administrator that is trying to promote their agenda, and they're probably in the minority there in their community, and they're just trying to make a political statement. And somebody needs to address that individual and let them know that that's not something that's going to happen. I'm sorry.
Centerville School Superintendent Stephanie Lemmer sent a letter to parents notifying them that the district schools will be in level 1 lockdown Friday. Level 1 lockdown, Craig, which means doors are locked and no unscheduled visitors. But the Centerville schools will also have a half day of classes on Friday with an 11:30 a.m. dismissal. So it's so important that we keep these students locked down that we're still going to let them go at 11:30 so they can go to the rally.
I'm not getting it. I'm serious.
This woman needs help. This woman needs help. This woman.
Oh,
she
most definitely this woman needs help. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a mental illness. Which, of course, we all know. Liberalism is, in fact, a mental illness.
Yeah, and it seems to have a good foothold over many of our school boards. And folks, that's probably what you need to take away from this whole thing is that you need to be doing a little deep dive into your school board and seeing what kind of nonsense they're locking up on your students, what's being taught, what's not being taught, more importantly, in your school boards.
Well, the scary part, Mike, is and I've said this often, the only time people show up at school board meetings is when their kid is being honored or the school board is screwed up. And unfortunately, those are not the only times we need to be there. We are the primary educators of our children. We're the ones that are primarily responsible for what they learn. And if we're not taking the time to engage ourselves in that and to know that, then we are in part of the problem. I'm just going to say that.
That's right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
And I get frustrated because I get people who say this and say that. I'm like, okay, well, were you at the school board meeting when that decision was made? And invariably they say, well, no, I was not. I said, well, then, I mean, what do you want to do? If they don't hear from you, and mind you, a lot of people who run for school board are a bunch of leftists. I have to say it, but most people who get involved in education are left of center. And if we're not going to be engaged on the right, then we can't wonder why schools have gone the way that they've gone.
Folks, what you should do is go onto your local school board website, your local school district website, and just like any other legislative body out there, whether it be your city council all the way up to Congress, they have to post their agenda a minimum of 24 hours in advance. And you just take a look. Just take a look. Look, if you've a full day ahead of time, you look at the agenda, that gives you enough time to, I got to get off an hour for work early tomorrow so I can go up there. I got to do this. Just at a minimum, take a look at the agendas that are being posted, right? And then you can rally the troops if you have to.
Exactly. Not that hard. Just take a few minutes. Just take a few
Yep.
minutes to do that. Or by the way, how about a part of it is just get to know your kids' teachers. I always made it a point. Like the first week of school, I would go to school. I would make it a point to show up at school and introduce myself to each of my kids' teachers. I didn't wait till back to school night, where I was one of a handful of teachers, but parents. But I made sure they knew, and I gave them my card with my cell number, and I said, if you have any issues or any concerns with my child or any problems, you can call me directly. And so not only did they know that, okay, we're here working together, we're to educate my child, but it's also know that you have no excuse for not talking to me if there's an issue or a concern. You got no excuse. And by the way, I also let them know I'm paying attention.
Yes. There you go. That's the big one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let them know I'm paying attention. So, that there be what it be. Okay.
There you go.
Moving right along. So we've all heard about Canada and everything that's going on. So you got Trudeau, who has always been anti-gun, but who is taking an even newer, greater stance against guns, because he's talking about the epidemic of gun violence in Canada. There's only one problem, Mike. We talk about 2/3 of all gun deaths in the United States are suicides. Well, in Canada, that's 80% of all firearm deaths are actually suicides. So is it a gun problem or is it a suicide problem?
That's a mental health problem right there. That's a suicide problem. That's what that is. I could tell you, from many years working in that realm, that if someone is intent on committing suicide, the lack of a firearm, if they did not have a firearm, would not hinder them from committing suicide. It might take a second or two longer for the actual death to occur, with choosing the method, but the lack of a firearm does not hinder the person from committing suicide when they are intent on committing suicide. Craig, it's as if saying, listen, if I got rid of school buses, nobody would walk out in front of school buses anymore. Well, they're going to walk out in front of something else. So the whole notion that firearms cause suicides by firearm is the same as vehicles cause DUIs. It's the same kind of thing.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I remember I did a while back. I did a story on suicides in Japan, and suicide in Japan is like, I think they're like, amongst industrialized countries, they are number like 2 or 3 in suicides, and amongst all nations, they are like number 6, and they have banned civilian ownership of firearms. So you're right. Not
yeah. And you have to remember now, especially in Asia, Japan and much of the rest of Asia, suicide is an honorable thing over there. It's becoming a little bit less, over time with millennials infiltrating everywhere. But yeah, absolutely. It just because there's no firearms there doesn't stop their ability to commit suicides.
Yeah. Well, once again, and I just think that once again we go back to wokeness, and wokeness is about ignoring the facts and reality and focusing on how you feel about something. And you can lie about the data and the statistics as long as it helps you make your point about what you feel, and you're able to stop and put in place policies that promote what you feel those policies should be. And in this case, Canada, you do not have a gun problem. United States, we don't have a gun problem, because as we know, 2/3 of all deaths in the United States that occur with firearms are suicides. And of the remaining, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere around 80% of them are either drug or gang related. So we have a gang and drug problem, and we have a suicide problem, but we do not have a firearm problem.
No, listen, we talked about this the other day, or if not, I think we might have talked about it on the radio show this weekend as well. There's Craig, you own a firearm or two over there in California, whatever you're legally allowed to own. Did they commit any crimes this weekend?
Oh, none of my firearms committed any crimes this weekend.
They didn't run out of the house and just start shooting people. None of that happened.
No, they tend not to do that.
None of your firearms suicided anybody? Didn't do anything like that?
Nope.
They didn't go out and take the car and do any drive-bys?
Nope.
I don't know. Sounds like you don't have a gun problem there.
Sounds like we don't have at least I don't have a gun problem in my house.
There you go. Got your guns under control, the right amount of discipline. You show them the belt every once in a while, don't you? You just walk by and show it to them.
Oh my. Okay. So moving right along, we'll talk a little bit about that. So Florida, the gunshine state. Now there's this movement in investment circles, and a lot of public pension funds are doing this, where they're inserting wokeness into their investment policy, and part of that wokeness is anti-gun policy. And so with the blessing of, well, I will get that. So the folks, well, matter of fact, Mike, I'll let you kind of introduce this one, since this is a Florida story, I'll let you kind of introduce this one, and then I've got some of the principles upon which their policy is based. So I'll go ahead and let you talk to the folks about this one.
Yeah. I'll let you do the principles here. There's in Florida, listen, like many other states and legal entities, bodies of politics, we've got a couple of weird titles of different people that exist in our government. There's a guy named Ash Williams who's the chief investment officer for the board of administration. Listen, I've been in Florida for a very long time and I have no idea what that is. No clue what that is. And why would you have a chief investment officer? I don't know. So he deals with a lot of the Florida retirement systems, but he's not in charge of the Florida retirement system. So it's a very strange position. And anyway, back 3 years ago, some organizations that Craig's going to tell you about, headquartered out there in California, came up with the principles for a responsible civilian firearms industry. So the principles for a responsible civilian firearm industry. Now, I got to tell you, Craig, the way this was presented, the way this was initially worded, it says we are proud supporters of the Second Amendment, the Second Amendment this, and Second Amendment that. So I'm thinking what may have happened is Ash Williams just went, oh yeah, well, we support the Second Amendment here. I get about 1,000 of these letters crossing my desk every day. Sure, we support this. But Craig, these principles that they listed under their responsible civilian firearms industry are not what I think people would be led to believe based on the title and description of this program.
Oh no, most definitely not. Now here, let's just share some of them. All right, principle number 1, manufacturers should support, advance, and integrate development of technology designed to make civilian firearms safer, more secure, and easier to trace. So he's talking about microstamping. So they should be in favor of microstamping as well as they want to make sure to institute smart guns. So that's something that they're really
pushing. Right out of the California Department of Justice right there. That's right there from California DOJ.
Right, exactly. 2 technologies that have been demonstrated already that number 1, they fail, and they fail often. And number 2, in both cases, they are easy to circumvent. So, yes. But what it does is, because many firearms manufacturers don't have these, it would then make the firearms that they manufacture illegal, which is pretty much what we deal with here in California with handguns, with our not unsafe handgun roster. But wait, there's more. Let me give
you an example for folks of that, real quick, for folks around the country that don't know this. What are we in? We're in a Glock 5.5 generation, I think, right now. We're starting to see the Glock 5s with MOSs and everything else. Craig, what's the latest Glock generation you're allowed to have there?
Well, you can have up to a Glock 5, but you cannot purchase it from a firearms retailer. So the maximum, the newest firearm Glock that you can purchase from a firearms retailer is a Gen 3.
Gen 3. Now you say I can't purchase it, or I have to purchase it from a firearms dealer. Well, what other methods are there to get these Glocks?
Well, you can buy it from a private individual. So
how do they get it legally?
Well, many of them. You guys, when you guys hear about law enforcement officers being arrested for firearms trafficking, what happens is that you may have someone who's a local law enforcement officer. They go and they buy a firearm that the rest of us can't buy. and then they turn around and they sell it to somebody. And because the rest of us
And
can't
I'll
buy
say
it,
this.
they sell it at a premium.
Yeah. I'll
Now,
say this too. Most of the time, your law enforcement officers buy these things unknowingly, unwittingly, that they're violating the law because they bought it. They thought they could have it, and then when they weren't a cop anymore, they sold it. They're like, "What do you mean I can't sell my own?"
No,
product?"
that's not what's happening in some of these cases. They're buying it with the intent of selling it to a friend or selling it to somebody.
They are, but it's not the only way. Is what I was my point.
Oh no, yes, no, it's not the only way. No, a lot of times you'll have people who maybe moved into California from out of state and they owned one
And didn't know exactly right.
and they owned one. You are still allowed to own them. You just cannot buy them from a firearms retailer. So, which means that bumps up the price of them. So a Glock that may be $600 everywhere else in the country, if you're going to buy it via a private party transfer, PPT, it's going to cost you maybe $1,000. And so you had in a number of cases, you had people who could buy them, were buying them and turning around and selling them. Now, if you are a law enforcement officer, you can sell your firearm, but you cannot buy it with the intent of selling it. So you can't buy it, then turn around and sell it. You can buy it, decide, I really don't like this one.
Same as applies to any civilian. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, no.
Same rule applies to any civilian buying a firearm. Yeah.
Exactly. Because then you are a straw
principle
purchaser.
number 2. Let's move on.
All right, principle number 2.
Yep.
Manufacturers should adopt and follow responsible business practices that establish and enforce responsible dealer standards and promote training and education programs designed around firearm safety. Okay, first of all, most industries that I know, people who are in the industry and firearms retailers I know promote firearm safety. They do. They promote training and all of that. Now, the funny part is that none of the anti-gun gun control groups out there, none of them promote firearm safety. To them, firearm safety is lock up your gun, take your gun apart, don't own a gun, and that's their idea of firearm safety. And that's what, when they talk about firearm safety, that's exactly what they're talking about.
But every town for gun safety, Craig, surely you must be able to go to their homepage and find some safety courses. It's every town for gun safety.
Absolutely not. In fact, in California, you contribute money whenever you buy a firearm, you contribute money that goes into a fund that's supposed to go into promoting firearm safety, and it does absolutely nothing to promote firearm safety. Nothing whatsoever.
But Craig, this program was purported to be all about the Second Amendment. All of these things in these principles must clearly be in the Second Amendment, right? Must have some sort of training requirement. And
Nope.
What?
No training.
What?
No nothing.
What?
Nope. No, exactly.
Okay.
Here's the other one. They're pushing background checks in principle number 3. If you see right there, they're saying that you're going to promote and be okay with which, by the way, once a firearms retailer, once you sell a firearm, if you're a firearms retailer, at least in California, if you're a firearms retailer nationally, you have to have a background. You have to sell it via a background check. But you can't control if someone else decides they want to do a private party transfer. Now in California, you have to still do a background check. But in other states, in many other states, you don't have to do a background check if you're doing a private party transfer. But here's the thing. A firearms retailer doesn't control that. Am I wrong?
Right. No, you are not, sir.
No.
You are not.
Anyway, let's see. Any of these other ones? Educate employees about better recognize, effectively monitor irregularities at the point of sale. Already do that. Participants in the civilian firearms industry should work collaboratively and engage signatories in the principles designed to adopt, disclose, measures, metrics, demonstrating both best practices and their commitment. What the hell does that mean?
More anti-gun hoopla.
They need to support anti-gun laws. And so if you are a part of the firearms industry and you don't support gun control, they will then divest from your company. Is pretty much the sum total of it.
Exactly. Now this Craig, this went on for about 3 years before anybody noticed this. Now I will say this guy Ash Williams, when he got this original letter, he sent letters out or memos out to the governor, a couple other people saying, hey, does anybody know of this program? Does anybody see this program? Unless we've got some objection, I guess I'm going to sign into it. Well, I guess nobody proofread it. Nobody took a look at it. It doesn't look like this guy took a good look at it, and they signed on to it. Now, listen, this was just one of those letter statements, letter of intents. It had no requirements to it. The state didn't lose any money. We didn't invest in any non-gun companies or anything along those lines. Recently, somebody found that Williams had signed on to this. It was brought to the head of the state's NRA director, and she addressed it. It got finally addressed with Jimmy Patronis, who's the chief financial officer. That's a cabinet official here in Florida. He immediately got a hold of Williams and said, you need to pull us out of this post haste. And it was done within days, where Florida is no longer part of this. And now, since also recently, Mr. Williams will be retiring from his position there at the chief investment officer with the board of administration. Again, whatever that is.
Captain Florida strikes again.
Yeah. Listen now, this where Captain Florida, I think his influence comes in. Now that they noted that there was a push to have investments be in non-firearms companies. Now the chief financial officer, with the governor's consent, is pushing to invest into those organizations and companies. Well, so we're going to do the opposite of what this letter wanted. Now we're going to be searching out valid, good investment opportunities in the Second Amendment and firearms community.
Well, you have a responsibility when you accept a position like that. When you have a public fund, which is other people's money, you have a responsibility to maximize the return on investments. Now, these companies are not engaging in anything illegal. They're not doing anything that is unethical. They are simply They're simply helping to facilitate a constitutional right, a constitutionally enumerated right. So if they're doing that, and by the way, they happen to be profitable at it, well, then you have no reason to not invest in them. You absolutely positively have no reason, rhyme nor reason, not to invest in them, especially when, once again, your first responsibility is to maximize the return on investment for your investors, which, by the way, are the people of Florida, the retirees, the people who work for your local state government there. You have a responsibility to make sure that they are able to retire and be financially secure in that retirement.
Exactly right. And that's the way things will be going now here in the state of Florida.
Amen. All right, so we did a piece last week on
the president's brother.
Oh yeah, on Joe Biden's brother, Frank
brother
Biden.
Frank.
Right. Because as we know, at football games all across the country, college football games all across the country, you started hearing chants of F Biden, right?
Yep.
Well, this meme kind of falls in line with that, and I want to thank our good buddy Mr. Richardson over at No Lawyers, Only Guns and Money for posting this one. That's where I got this one from. Evidently, good old Joe is, he's confused as to what exactly it means. He believes that F Joe Biden means that he's being really popular and a lot of people want to have sex with him. Well,
to fornicate him.
His good friend Barack Obama is letting him know, no, that's not what they mean when they say F Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe. Joe.
That's not what they mean.
Nope.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
No. I want some ice cream.
No, he wants pudding, tapioca, to be specific.
Tapioca with the little bubbles in it.
Hey, Mikey, give a shout out to our sponsors before we cut out today.
Our good friends at Grid Defense and Gorilla Machining. Grid Defense and Gorilla Machining, where you get all of your top AR accessories and firearms parts that you need in order to get hooked up and build yourself your own America's rifle.
There you go. America's rifle. That's what we like to call the AR, not an assault rifle.
That's right.
An assault rifle. No.
Yep.
And by the way, just for those of you who are going to put in the comments, it doesn't mean America's rifle. We know what AR stands for. We're being funny.
If it meant America's rifle, it would be MR. America's rifle.
America's rifle.
Yep. Get you an MR-14.
All right, folks. Well, hey, that's going to be it for today's rundown. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember, like, share, subscribe. Look us up at therundown.us. You can also find us on Facebook at 2A News Rundown. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. We'll see you tomorrow on Taco Tuesday.
Like, share, subscribe. Emus Metropoli.